Micaiah lived in the village near the forest. They were both in class 5. Their head teacher Mrs. Edna always warned them on the danger of the forest. She insisted that they should always go home immediately after school and in groups of 2 or more. One Friday morning, Mr. Kebwato, a village hunter, came to school and angrily asked to see the class teacher. He told Mrs. Edna that he was annoyed with some boys who were playing hide-and-seek in the forest. This game interfered with his game traps. The boys could get hurt or even be killed, he cried. The following morning during assembly, Mrs. Rano warned the pupils again not to play in the forest. They were to choose between obeying or disobeying the school rules. Choosing not to obey, she warned, would lead to them being punished. Despite the warning, Coffee and Micaiah chose to disobey. They continued to play in the forest. One afternoon, as they were playing and running, they fell into a deep pit. They had not seen it is because the hunter had dug it up and covered it with dry twigs and leaves. Later in the evening, when the hunter went to inspect his traps, he heard some voices crying out for help. He followed the direction of the sound. He arrived at one of his traps and saw it had been interfered with. He shone his torch in the pit and saw the 2 boys in it. At first he was furious with the boys. However, when he realized they were in great pain, he hurried back to the village for help. 3 men went down the pit and brought up the boys using a ladder. They were given first aid and then taken to hospital. The boys had chosen to disobey orders of the head teacher and the hunter. That is why they fell into the deep pit and suffered pain. As Christians we should choose to obey instructions and do the right thing. In the Bible, Genesis 3 verse 1 to 24, the Bible tells us that God made Adam and Eve and put them in the beautiful Garden of Eden. There were all kinds of fruit-bearing trees and not to mention the glorious and heart-warming flowers and animals. However, to test their obedience, God asked them not to eat the fruits from one of the trees, the tree of good and evil. They were however deceived by the devil and chose to disobey God, and they were punished by God by being chased out of the Garden of Eden, and besides God cursed them. But we see, as in the story of Coffee and Micaiah, whereby they disobeyed the rules and had been trapped, they were helped out of the big pit. The same way the Lord through the sacrificial death of Jesus salvated men, and now we can get to heaven through believing in Jesus. God bless you and thanks for watching. See you in the next